guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Wednesday evening. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. In fact, I have an email response. I'm responding to two people. One is from a good sis who wanted me to, well, she actually saw one of your comments in the comment section. One of you guys, I know who it is, but I don't do that. If you want to say something yourself, that's fine. I don't ever call names. But one of you guys said in the comment section that one of your struggles were that your trauma has caused you to become very clingy. And so I responded to you, and I was just saying kudos to you, big ups to you, that you recognize that is a thing for you, because now you give God something to work with. Most people are in denial about their vices. So the first thing is recognizing any area that you want to change, right? Because we all are different, because we all have different experiences in life, which then leads to different perspectives, etc., etc. I want to talk about that because it may not be all your fault. It may not be your fault at all when someone is pulling away from you. It could be their stuff. Many times it is their stuff. You got stuff too, so y'all stuff, our stuff. Next, I want to talk about a good sis who, she is okay. So she considers herself to be a very strong woman. She's been told by many people she's masculine, and she is really struggling because she's I guess she's been listening to, some of these YouTubers or whatever, or people who saying certain things like, well, because she's too strong or she's too masculine, she's never going to get a masculine man. I beg the differ, sis. I'm going to speak about that. Okay, so first thing, here's the thing. I think it's more easy for us to, never mind, that's not right. I'm going all the way left. That's not right. Okay, so we all are different. We all have different experiences in life. Okay, some people childhood was literally hell. Some people childhood was literally Disney World, right? So we all have different experiences. So upon your experiences of how you were raised, then there's a good chance that that's how you are, receiving and putting things out in life currently as an adult. But some things may not be the correct way. Some things are trauma driven. Some things are conditioning, meaning you see things and it's just a pattern and you just don't know that it's another way or if it's the right or the wrong way. But then God will start to expose you to certain things. It's going to be your responsibility to say, okay, wait a minute. I've only seen this way all my life, but this way, because God will give you some type of revelation about it, right? That's why he's bringing it to you. So your job is to be like, wait a minute. So this is possible. This is the right way, right? This is the right way, God. So he'll expose you to it, but it's still your responsibility to start to work on and heal some of those wounds in order for you to start just becoming the person that you want to be from the examples that God have placed right within your path, right? Many people, especially in our community, many people have experienced some type of trauma. You got people, men and women, excuse me, boys and girls who were molested. You have children who experience violence 7 days a week, couldn't even sleep because the parents were acting a straight fool in the house, right? You have children who've experienced parents who are crackheads and would leave the house for weeks and even months and never come back. And these children are literally hungry in the house and trying to get themselves to school. Even if that, you have children who went through even more. You have children. I spoke to a gentleman. He's actually a public figure. And he spoke about some of it, but he was locked in closets. as a punishment. Meaning, like, let's just say, I don't know, he didn't do his chores or you got a bad grade. He got locked in closets for days. A closet. A closet. A closet. That alone can take your mind. You know, there's men in prison who literally, their mind slip because the human is not designed to be closed in like that. So he would get locked in closets for punishment and sometimes don't even eat for days. So and of course you got some people who experience trauma, but not to that extent, right? You may have had a father who was just Papa was a Rolling Stone and he would tell you he's going to come back and pick you up. And you're sitting on a little porch. Oh, I can literally see a little child sitting on the porch, but you're sitting on the porch, like waiting on him and he never shows back up, right? That's trauma. That's abandonment. That's rejection. Or you may have a parent, a father, Papa was a Rolling Stone. He have other children, but it was something that he couldn't take care of you because maybe your mom was a side piece. But you know all of your other siblings, step siblings or whatever you call them, respectfully. He takes care of them. He's in the household with them. You may even go to school with these kids and they're coming to school with Jordans on and you got the Walmart shoes on with the Velcros because you know. All that stuff is trauma. The smallest thing, and this is why I think it's crucial to go through the healing season. Ask God to help you start a healing season, because what happened is when you start that healing season, God will literally start to show you things that you buried. So in your mind, especially men typically, they can just, like, I don't care. You ask a guy about his dad, let's just say his dad was trifling, right? And you ask him about his dad, and the first thing, I don't care, I don't need no dad, But when you start digging more, he breaks down crying because they're covering things. But when you start a healing season, God will literally start to show you that the things that you buried, the things that you think you don't care about, the time you were bullied, the time the girls side-eyeing you because I don't know, they thought you were cuter than them or whatever, right? God will show you all that stuff. He will show you. That's part of your healing process. He have to bring it up. That's why you hear people say healing hurts. Healing hurts because you can no longer sweep your trauma under the rug, or you can no longer mask it in whatever form you were masking it with. You can no longer mask it. God brings that thing up to the forefront, right? And he have to uproot it, then expel it from you. So all that stuff have to come up out of you before your healing. Well, that's part of your healing process, but your healing process will then continue. So now you're being transformed, but these traumas are no longer within your spirit. That's why you hear people typically say healing hurts, because you gotta sit in that trauma. Can't run from it. You gotta sit in it. You gotta relive the molestation. You have to relive the crazy alcoholic daddy who's pissed up and God. Who's breaking bottles and just foolish, right? You got to live all that. You got to live the time he said he was coming back and he didn't come get you, right? You got to live the time that you saw the siblings in the school all lumped up in the group and you were the only one that, you got to relive all that stuff. You got to relive it. You got to feel it. So I don't even know how I went there. Somebody must have needed that because I was talking about the other person's trauma. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that, okay, let's just say you are the clingy person, right? I'm the opposite, which also it could be trauma triggered when you're avoidant. See, this is the whole thing. This is why there is no right or no wrong, really. It is what it is. It's just what you've been through, who you are. So there's really no right or wrong, meaning if you're a clingy person, okay, you're clingy for a reason, or you could just be a very affectionate person, right? But clingy and overly affectionate is two different things, right? If you're clingy and you're clinging on to people for dear life who are treating you like crap because you are fearful that if they leave, you can never get anybody else, or when they try to leave or the argument starts and they may just need to get away because they know when they get heated, they can get physical. So they may just be trying to get away from the argument, and here your triggers are telling you they're going to leave and never came back like your dad did. Okay. All right. So that's your stuff. You're clingy. That's your stuff. Okay. Now, his stuff or her stuff, whoever it is, their stuff, they could have had a parent, and I think this behavior is called avoidant. And if you Google avoidant personality traits, if you Google, it's not called clingy personality traits, but I think it's something. I'll put it in the comment section. But there's different personality traits from different experiences in life. So here's the hard part. It's like with the different personality traits, they attract the opposite. So because you are clingy in the sense of trauma driven, because people left you or rejected you, you're clingy, you're gonna cling on to the person who is avoidant. The avoidant person don't like clinginess because they feel like you're overcrowding them. There's some kind of trauma going on where they had to kind of fend for themselves. They were rejected, so it kind of cornered them in the corner. They had to be by themselves because either they didn't fit in or they were rejected they were considered the black sheep. Nobody wanted them, or could have been a situation where, let's just say, they were the only child in the household who had a different father, right? And I'm not saying this is right, because my dad, he treated my brother, which is one of his stepsons, like there was no difference in the treatment. So I'm not, because you got some stepfathers out here where, listen, they're better than your own dads. Let me just tell you, right? But in this situation, what I'm trying to explain is, let's just say that there is a child who did not receive that fair treatment. So you have four children in the household. But then when the one who have a different dad, he's set apart. And the mom ain't got good sense to really put some things in place. Like, listen, I understand this is not your child, sir, but you can't be bringing, Happy Meals for 3 and just leaving one out. I get it. It's not your child. I get it. But at the same time, this is a child. So if anything, just if you want to bring them Happy Meals, bring me the money if you don't mind. And then I'll just put my own money in and buy where they all get it together. But you have children who've experienced that their siblings all got a certain type of treatment and they didn't. So you were left to fend for yourself. It's just you. No one protected you. No one included you. So you're avoidant because that's just what you've always done. You've always done things on your own. You're set apart. Okay, so typically these two different people attract each other. So now the clingy person is losing their mind because the avoidant person don't want to be crowded and don't listen. Please give me some space. And then you're stressing them out even more because, like, why do you need space? What are you going to do when you have space? I just need to breathe. It's been a rough day. Like, oh my goodness, can I just I've been in my head. I just need to get some downtime. No, you're going to go cheat on me. I'm not. And then, so you see how it could literally just be, it's not always you, right? You can meet somebody who's okay with the clingy. There's clingy people. Meet another clingy person. There will be no issues. You're clingy, they're clingy. But it doesn't work like that. When you really do the research, you see that it's typically the opposite. You attract the opposite. So it may not be you. Now, I will say, if your clinginess is coming from trauma, triggers, and base, that's something you definitely still need to heal in general for your own sanity, right? But if you meet somebody tomorrow and the person just as clingy as you, y'all can have a clingy fest. Just don't include me, please, because I ain't got time, right? Woo, just let me breathe for a second, please. My God. And then if you put two avoidant personalities, right? And again, the same thing. You got to make sure that your avoidant personalities is not because of trauma, right? So even if you've already addressed your trauma, you still may just be more of an introvert. So it's really not that, okay, there's something wrong with being avoidant if you've healed any wounds. We all are just different. But if you put two avoidant personalities together, listen, You can go work out of town for days on end. I don't have to see you every single day. In fact, I don't even have to speak to you every single day. But we know there's a common denominator of trust, mutual respect, etc., etc. So it's not that somebody's doing something shisty or grimy. It's just like, we're just in our own lane. We're just, you need time to breathe. So there's no issue. There's no issue. But the issue, again, is when we're meeting the complete opposite, and then we're trying to force people. So the more you run after the avoidant, they're going to run further from you. And then it causes problems, because here you're thinking they're cheating, they're doing this, and they're just like, listen, leave me alone for a day, please. So it may not be you. It may be the person. Even if you've done your work, even if you've healed, even if you went through a healing season, you may now have encountered somebody who's not healed. So you really may be healed and whole. You're not clingy. You're just affectionate. You just like what you like. You like intimacy. You like to know, where things are. You like to communicate effectively. You like to know where you're going. And that's not clingy. That's just who you are. But then the other person, they're freaking out, running like, what do you mean? What are we doing? I just known you for 2 months and you're not asking me, what are we doing? Can we just chill? And now you're thinking like, I'm the problem. He stopped calling, she stopped calling because I guess I'm just too overbearing, and you're not even the problem. You're healed. You healed your wounds. They didn't. So you're coming on strong like that. Not even strong. You're coming on transparent like that. You're hitting a nerve with them because they're unhealed. When a person is unhealed, they don't like to feel it. They don't like to feel vulnerable. It makes them feel raw. So this is why typically you can have a person who's unhealed. They will leave you or cheat with the person who do not challenge them. And then it's like, this dude don't even look half as, and it's not even about that. Well, this chick it's not even about that. They're not challenging them. Right? They're just going with the flow. So this is when you have to understand where your value is. Like, listen, I know I'm not the problem because I've healed, right? If I didn't go through a healing season, then yeah, I probably could still be clingy from trauma triggers, but I've healed. So I know I'm not the problem. By the fact that I'm healed, I know who I am, and I need to know where we're standing because I don't have time to waste. Okay, so you're good. So guess what? You're not the problem. But you can't force this person to go through a healing season. And you sure don't want to, please don't try to sit here and compete with the next chick. Oh, I guess she don't challenge him about questions, so I'll just let him come over and don't say anything to him and just let him do what he do. Child, please, let that man go about his business. Let that man or that woman go about their business. Whatever is for you will find you. We don't chase, we attract. If people can't see what you carry, they're just not for you. And one day they'll realize it, but it'll be too late because you're already going on someplace else. So you may not be the problem. Just make sure you've healed. If you can't afford therapy and counseling, just Google. Go to Google and type in avoidant personalities and what causes them, because Google will break it down for you. Well, you may be avoidant because you were rejected. You may be avoidant because you've experienced a lot of trauma and you had to fend for yourself. You'll be avoidant, or you may, whatever the personality is for clinginess, just type in what causes clinginess as an adult. What trauma causes clinginess? Whatever your thing is. What causes rejection issues? What causes abandonment issues? Just type your stuff in. I think people are stuck because they feel like they have to go to a therapist, which sometimes is even taboo, which is crazy, but it's taboo in our community, right? Or they feel like they have to have all this money because therapy is very, very expensive, right? But the blessing now is that you can get therapy for free. People just don't even want to do the research, or they just don't know that it's out there. I don't know. But Google and YouTube is your best friend when it comes down to getting information to try to really help you sort out your traumas, etc., 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 etc. Okay, what was the second thing? My good sis, who said she's considered to be a very strong woman. Now, she did say that she's honest. First of all, sis, your email is everything. Because let me tell you something. I'm a transparent person. I love authenticity and realness. She was real enough to say that she knows she's not healed yet or fully healed. So a lot of her behaviors is coming from trauma, triggers, etc., etc. But she just feels like men need to man up, and she wouldn't have to be running over them. And she is a strong woman, and she's been hearing that strong woman only attracts weak. And I'm saying weak. I'm not saying beta, right? Weak men, and I know some people consider beta to be weak. I don't know, but she ain't got time. She want her a real masculine man, but these YouTubers or whoever else have told her she will only get a simp. Okay, really quickly. So here's the thing. I say this first because I always stress this when I'm on this topic. Never, ever, ever make any apologies for being a strong woman. Because let me tell you, whoever can say what they want to say, but let me tell you something, honey. When these seasons shift on them, because seasons rotate. When these seasons shift on them and the world end up on top of their shoulder and things ain't going that could went in the last season, they'll be wanting your strength then, right? Don't get it twisted, right? Don't try to make us weak now, because listen, we gonna hold you down when you can't hold yourself down. So stop trying to put us in this weak category or make us weak. Now, on the flip side, I have to agree with many men, and now a lot of the women are now starting to awaken. Yes, we are strong, but we were never designed to literally carry the entire world on our shoulders. We just had to. It's conditioned. We saw it. You see it all around you, right? We can do it all. And truth of the matter is, we can. We really can. But at what cost? Our sanity, our edges. At what cost? You don't even recognize it until you go through a healing process. If you are unhealed, you are still attracting everything, every person, everybody. You're attracting from the unhealed place. So anybody in your life is going to be pretty much toxic. So this is why, again, I know people don't like to hear this. You have to heal first. Hopping from man to man or relationship to it's never ever going to happen like that. Since you came from trauma, it's not. Where is the space for the healing season? So you're going from one trifling dude to the next trifling dude to the next trifling dude to the next. Where is the time to really have a season where God can really get in there and really heal you and prep you for whoever He has for you? So again, once you heal, which is not a 6-month process, right? Once you heal, you will attract a certain type of man. Energy attracts energy. Healed people attract healed people. Toxic people attract toxic people. So once you heal, strong and all, you will attract a certain type of man, a certain caliber of man. Okay, now this type of man is a man. He's a man. He's healed, he's whole, right? I guess you could say maybe there's probably a very, very, very small percentage of men who maybe never experienced some type of trauma. A very small percentage. Or he could have already went through some trauma, maybe divorced, but he decided to have a single season. He healed, he met God, etc., etc. So he's healed, whatever. However he got healed, he's healed. When this type of man is in your presence, you will feel protected. And I'm not speaking about he's walking around with a baseball bat protective. It's protective. It's just that his presence alone will settle your spirit. See, when you're with toxic people, you don't feel safe. So you're constantly on guard trying to protect yourself because you already know this fool he ain't about to, he can't even protect you if he wanted to. He's running behind you, right? So you're trying to protect yourself. So with all that rah, truth of the matter is, that's really not, they say that's masculinity. That's just trauma. That's fear. That's really fear. Because let me tell you something, and I see it happen all the time. All the time. A man, a masculine man, with some patience for the right woman, because he, first of all, he got to be called to her because he just not even going to deal with that nonsense the first time he's out, right? But if God calls him to her, this man can transform you. His patience alone with you, first of all, he's going to see through it. So these men typically realize that really there's nothing masculine about you. That mouth doesn't make you masculine. But see, this is why it takes a patient man. A patient man will realize, first of all, again, he's healed, so he can already see through the mask, right? But his patience and not running away just because there's an outburst one time, right? Not running away because not running away so easily. But again, this means he's called to you. Then he's going to give him stamina. God's going to give him grace to really deal with you, right? Not deal with you, but you get my point. And he's going to settle your spirit. And you're going to realize, I was never masculine. So you're letting them tell you what masculine is. You're not masculine just because you have a mouth. That doesn't make you masculine. You're traumatized. You're traumatized. In fact, we all, men and women, we all have masculine and feminine energy. It's just more about when it comes out. So I'm a firm believer in that some women who want to heal, who want to be married or whatever the goal is, that she does have to heal and learn how to shelf it. Not to say it won't ever come off the shelf. It's your default setting. But when he brings it to your attention, if you're getting ahead of him, then there's nothing for you to be like, oh my God, my bad. Let me sit down, right? I'm a strong woman and I make zero apologies. All caps. ZERO. Zero apologies. So in saying that, I attract both, respectfully, right? Just speaking in general, I attract both. I attract what they would consider beta, and I also attract masculine men. But whose choice is it? I have a choice if I want to deal with beta, or I have a choice to respectfully, I don't like to use the word reject, deny. I have a choice to deny beta because I know beta and me can't get along. See, here's the thing. They make you think that two masculines can't get along. And typically it's true. It's very true. But the masculine will settle you. So typically, no, you two will be butting heads. But once he's proven himself, once you realize, like, okay, this dude here is rare, right? I don't have to jump ahead of him. I don't have to tell him what to do because he already got it, so I can just chill. So you don't have to accept, a strong woman will attract a beta because sometimes some betas, just depends on the definition or whatever. Sometimes I get mixed up with, you hear so much stuff, but trifling is what I would call it. You don't want to work, so they see you're strong, so they figure you will pull the load. So you're taking care of a whole grown man. So you got 4 boys, you got 3 sons, and you got 4 boys in your household, right? So those type will attach themselves to strong women because they know you're going to carry the load. You've been carrying the load all your life. That's what makes it easy for you to do it. Even though you're complaining about it, You still do it because you're used to it. So this is why you have to heal. Because when you heal, it's the complete opposite. Boy, take care. Who? Oh, you going to work? Are you getting up out of head? Right? But when you encounter the masculine, right, the manly man, instantly your spirit settles. And at any given time, because it's still your default setting, when you try to rise up against him, oh, he's going to check you real quick. He's going to check you real quick. And he's going to check you respectfully. He's not going to disrespect you, but he's going to let you know his stance. And you're going to see, here's the thing. Some people see submission or whatever you want to call it, right? Because there's so many different definitions. Here's how I look at the term submission. Definitely not under anybody's feet or whatever the craziness they got going on, right? The man in your life who God, all caps, God sends. This is why you got to wait for God to send them, right? Because you can't just be out here trying to, no, you got to wait for God to send the man designed for you. Okay, here's how I see it. Even if you are a woman who's used to running things and blase, well, the man that God has for you is going to be a man that you respect and honor. Naturally, when you respect and honor a man, you really just fall back, like seriously, because you respect and you honor him. So you trust his direction. You trust that he's just not going to just tell you anything just to tell you anything like some men do. So it's really more about you trusting and honoring him. That alone is going to just have you in a different kind of posture. But the problem that a lot of women, what they're doing is they're trying to make every man they meet. You can be a dude at the corner store, at the bus stop, at the video store. You can be a man at Subway, and you're trying to bring this man home just to say you got a man so it can look like you have a family, and you're trying to make this man a husband or make this man masculine. And it's not going to work. So this is why you have to be healed. To know that you can meet 1,000 dudes a day, but you ain't got time for the majority. You're good regardless. So with that mindset, the one who is for you can easily find you. But the problem is, again, most women or most people just don't want to sit in a single season. It's so hard for people. And sitting in that single season, that isolation season is going to be the one season that prepares you for what it is that you really want. But you can't get what you really want because you're not willing to sit in that season. So sis, let me just tell you, I'm a whole strong woman up over here, honey. And I don't have any issue with masculine men. Because I'm not coming up against them like that. I don't need to tell them what to do. They're already doing it. They're already doing it. They're already doing it. So a masculine man and a masculine woman surely can works because, again, when he's in her presence. Now, you can be masculine all day long, right? Seriously, all day long until you're around him. So when you get home or when he's in your presence, it's like a light switch. It just kind of automatically just flip. And then again, if you kind of forget and you kind of get ahead, he brings it back to your attention. You automatically just chill because you feel safe. You trust him. This is a very, 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 all caps, very small percentage of men. But they're out there. Are you willing to wait? Are you willing to wait? Or do you want a fourth son? I ain't got. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.